beef between Don Trump and LeBron James. It's been going on for a long time. They've been at each other's necks ever since an old Twitter exchange a few months ago. But just today, Trump reinitiated the attack on Twitter pertaining to this new I Promise school that James is setting up, and I think he's doing a lot of the funding. So in this video, I'm going to break down the actual social nuances and the Twitter interactions so you can understand what's going on. Because what's this going to do for you? When you understand the techniques, you can, number one, either apply them in your own life, or number two, understand when somebody's using these techniques against you. And it's just interesting to kind of understand what's going on in these interactions. Now, if you really want to up your social skills, you feel like you're not great right now and you want to be able to understand what's going on around you socially, I'd encourage you to check out the Social Invincibility program. You can go to socialinvincibility.com and I'll talk to you more about it there. So the beef started all the way back when Trump yanked his invitation to the Golden State Warriors. They were the winners of the championship this year in basketball. And Steph Curry, I guess they said he was hesitating. So Trump tweeted, "Going to the White House is considered a great honor for a championship team. Steph Curry is hesitating, therefore the invitation is withdrawn." And the argument about this was that they had already said that they weren't going to go, and so he withdrew it after. So LeBron replies with a tweet that says, "You bum. Steph Curry already said he ain't going. Therefore, there ain't no invite. Going to the White House was a great honor until you showed up." Okay? Harsh words, fighting words, okay? Trump doesn't forget stuff like that, so he's had major beef with LeBron ever since that. So when this new announcement came out that LeBron was putting up this I Promise school, it's basically a school that he's giving out a certain number of scholarships. I want to say it's in the 200s. Don't quote me on that. Basically, everything's free for the kids. They get everything. There's food. There's like meals for the families. Everyone that gets through gets a scholarship to proceed on to college. So it's pretty wild. It's a pretty big endeavor. Even though the numbers are low, it's a pretty cool thing he's doing. So Trump tweets to try to put some shade on this. He says, "LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. I like Mike." Okay, so what's he saying with that? That crack is he likes Michael Jordan, because there's been a big argument about him or LeBron being the best basketball players of all time. So he's basically just taking a swing at LeBron. And there's really, let's break down what's contained in this. This is kind of a classic Trump tweet, in that there's no real data, right? There's nothing like, "Oh, I see a gap in the I Promise school. The structure, it's not going to work because of this," right? This is just personal attacks. Mike Jordan is a better player. The guy who interviewed you is an idiot. He makes you look smart, and it's not easy to do. It's schoolyard humor that Trump is very effective at using. So Don Lemon, who interviewed him, responds back, "Who's the real dummy? A man who puts kids in classrooms or one who puts kids in cages?" Okay, referring to the border, them taking and separating the children and putting them in cages, like the big outcry that happened about that. So this is also, there's a little bit more actual data and logic in that, but what's Don Lemon doing with this? This is something that's so easy for people to repeat. Like, did you see that tweet? Who's the dummy? Putting people in classrooms or one in cages? That's something that everyone can understand. It's a very simplistic argument. Is there a little truth to it? Maybe a little bit, but the correlation is ridiculous. But this is something that people hear and they think, yeah, who's he to say he's putting people in cages and LeBron's putting people. So Don Lemon, it's a good tweet because he knows what's going to rile people up. It actually is along the same lines of Trump's tweet when all he was looking to do was create emotion, right? Michael Jordan, the dumbest man, he made you look smart. Just more schoolyard crack. So neither one of these had much logic behind them, but both of these guys know logic is not what makes the case. Logic is not what people get behind nowadays. It's these emotional arguments, these quick, repeatable things, these retweetable things. As a matter of fact, LeBron James' tweet back about the championship was the most retweeted tweet of 2017, I believe it said. So both these guys understand this. So the reason I want to point this out is because a lot of people, especially intelligent people and people that I coach socially, they have such a tendency to want to respond with logic. And when you respond to a crack or a diss or someone talking bad about you in a non-logical way with logic, you look like a dummy. I'm not going to break down the nuances of why that's the case, but you just look like a dummy and you're going to lose. So if somebody comes at you and says, "You're the fattest boy in the school, Barron," ha ha, and I say, "No, I'm not. Eddie is 20 pounds fatter and he has a higher body fat than me." Okay, how do I sound? I sound like an idiot because I'm not addressing it on the emotional level that he is. You know what I mean? So you'd want to come back with something just as ridiculous as that, just an emotional crack to the person who's doing it, like Don Lemon did, right? Well, what about na? What about someone who puts kids in cages? That's the right thing to do. So understand that anytime, and I want to finish this up with what Jordan said. It's pretty funny. But anytime someone attacks you from an emotional, non-logical perspective, never come back with logic because you're always going to look bad. Keep that same emotional play, almost like it's a little bit fun, a fun interaction, like it's funny. You're teasing them. Imagine you're back in 6th grade making jokes because you're going to have a much better chance of coming out on top. Now, Michael Jordan, Mike, I like Mike, says Trump. He's been in the game for a long time, right? He's had how many interviews with people, how many interactions with reporters. So what does he say? He says, "I support LeBron James. He's doing an amazing job for his community." Okay? What a pro in the game. You know what he employed there was the strategy that you always want to answer the question that you wish you were asked. So he actually said that through a spokesperson. But what if somebody said, "Hey, what do you think about Trump saying you're the best of all time?" and he clowned on LeBron? He doesn't want to get sucked into that. There's no upside. So he answers the question, what do you think about LeBron opening his new school? "I support LeBron James. He's doing an amazing job." That's another technique that you can use in your life. It works better in PR because when you're actually speaking to someone one-on-one, you can only pivot so much off the actual question asked. But that's a political trick where people are being interviewed all the time or they're running for political office. Answer the question that you wish you were asked because it enables you. The response doesn't sound as weird as you would think it would when you respond it if you keep a strong frame, right? You just deliver the answer as if that was the question that person asked. Now, I want to talk to you about this Trump video, this handshake battle with the Portuguese leader. But first, I want to say, if you have any questions for me, do you have anything, a specific interaction you want me to break down, maybe something that you're experiencing at work or just out in public you want me to answer, shoot over to my Instagram page. Go ahead and post it there underneath the most recent post or shoot me a DM, and I'll put it in the list. I answer all these questions for Q&A on my podcast. It's called The Charisma Matrix Social Secrets. You can watch it on iTunes or anywhere else, and I have a Q&A section where I knock all these questions out, and it might be one of yours. Now, if you haven't seen this video of this handshake battle, this very old, slight of build, short man, the leader of Portugal, gets in a handshake battle, and boy, he's a tougher component than what Trump thought. You can click here to watch that video, and I'll talk to you there.